we're going to go into what it means to become a developer. Okay? The talk here is about how to become a developer to, again, create impact and build your wealth. And those two are intricately tied together, right? Wealth and impact. Your ability to create impact in the world is tied to how much you're worth. That's, I hate to say it, but that's a reality of our society. And the more that you can understand how to build wealth, through some of the very proven ways of doing so, real estate in particular, the more impact that you're going to be able to create, the more creativity that you're going to be able to put into whatever you're doing. Because now you can create whatever it is that you're called to create physically in the physical world. And then people can come into your space and have experiences, right? And ultimately that's what it's about, right? Even if you're just in residential real estate, you're still trying to create a physical space that, say, a family can step into and enjoy their lives. And the real estate that you create is really the container for experience, right? So the more that you can think about what type of real estate that you want to be putting out in the world, what kind of space do you want to hold for people, the more it's going to inform the work that you're doing. And what I'm going to talk about is how small scale commercial real estate in particular can be that vehicle that really accelerates your work in the world, your work in real estate, because of the fact that it has so many different value streams to it and so many different exit points to it that the proposition is actually much more predictable. It's a much more predictable, grounded sort of thing, of business to pursue, as opposed to just buying and selling, right? If you can buy, create value, and holding assets and accumulating assets in this world really is what actually increases your wealth, right? And you have much greater potential to do that with commercial real estate because it is an income generating asset. Okay, so who in my mind should be developers, right? There's so much esotericism about developers, right? Oh, I'm not a developer. I can't do that. No, it's some people out there. And the message here is that no, you can be a developer. Anybody can be a developer if you are called to creating space, right? If you feel called to creating space, that is the sign that you want to be a developer in some form or fashion. I'm not saying you have to be a full-time real estate developer, but everybody should enjoy the process of creating space in their lifetimes. Not only because it builds incredible wealth, but it can enable incredible experiences. And in my mind, in life, experiences are everything, right? We live life to enjoy experiences. We work to have more enjoyable experiences. Experiences are everything. Right? And tying it back into the meditation session that we just did just then, right? Life is a series of experiences, right? And having an environment that we can have experiences in, more fulfilling, deep experiences, the better our lives collectively will be. So again, real estate developers in my mind can be investors, right? Many of which you all in the room are, right? You're already buying and selling real estate. You're improving real estate in some way. And that's a fundamental distinction that people need to internalize. Development is not necessarily investment, right? Investment is where you put money in and you expect a return on that money. Development and being a developer is actually a matter of you creating something, you creating value from the real estate that you're putting out there. So again, it's slightly different. It tends to be a little bit more of a risky proposition because you're not working with an existing asset. But real estate investors can be one of the best people to step into the role of developer. Entrepreneurs, right? Anybody who has a business-oriented mind to create businesses, that is really what commercial real estate is all about. Revenues minus expenses, right? Net income. It's a business, but it's tied to real estate. And that, in my mind, is actually one of the most secure types of businesses to invest in, right? Because it's not only is an operating business, but it also has a hard asset underlying it. So entrepreneurs in general, real estate professionals, right? People who are in the business of buying and selling real estate, realtors, for example, they see the process, they see how things transact, but they don't know how to create anything. And my goal in this whole day today is to share with you how to create real estate, right? From nothing, right? That's the goal, is to, and there's many steps along the way, but you'll see that this is all about creating something new. It's not necessarily just improving what already exists. Design professionals, architects, for example, architects, engineers, anybody who's in that design world, right? They're designing real estate that's new already. And yet they don't necessarily step into the role of developer. They don't understand finance, they don't understand marketing, they don't understand acquisitions, they don't understand all the various pieces that go into the process of creating what they're designing. And so again, a developer is not necessarily a designer. It's a creator. It's a creator role, and it's an orchestrator of the creative process. Urbanists, right? Anybody who feels called to cities being the future. That is really the type of people that I think that we need, right? Because we'll talk more about how cities, in my mind, are the path forward for our species, for our humanity, right? We can create greater connectivity, more fulfillment in our lives collectively, more sustainability in terms of our resources with cities. So anybody who believes in cities needs to really step into that role of developer and understand this stuff. And then anybody who feels like they're called to being a community leader, because in commercial real estate, oftentimes it means that you're actually cultivating a community, right? You're putting either, for example, retail space out there where people can actually come in and connect. They can commune with one another. Or you're putting residential real estate out there where people can actually come and live together, and they can have lives that have shared experiences with one another. So anybody who feels called to being a community leader, again, needs to know how to be a developer, because a lot of the times, especially in multifamily or mixed use, it's all about creating community. It's bringing people together with the space as the fundamental connector. Okay, so as I've been talking about, what is a developer? It's essentially a visionary, right? You have to, and that's really what the creative process is all about. You have to have a vision first. You have to have an idea of what you want to create. And the developer puts out ideas, of visions based upon what's already existing, and tries to envision something new, tries to envision something higher and better compared to what's already there. And then it's an organizer of resources, right? To then funnel those resources into the ability to actually get it done, to make the decisions, to finance the project, to close the deal, to manage the process, to actually create that vision and turn it into reality, right? And so a developer, in my mind, is a creator of realities, right? You're creating the reality around people's lives. And again, that's extremely motivating in my mind. So it's all about, again, creating these containers for experiences, right? Spaces can enable certain experiences, and we're in a beautiful space right now, for example, that is allowing us to be able to be here, to enjoy, to learn, to grow together. Okay, so why become a developer? As I've said, it's probably the best way just to know how to create value, to build your wealth, and to create impact, because you're putting real assets out into the world that you own, right? That's the goal. That's the holy grail in my mind, is you accumulate these assets that become these nodes of positivity, right? Of these places that people can go and have these really deep, fulfilling experiences, and you're actually providing a service to the world that people are enjoying, the service of space. And, to boot, you can design environments that have significant economic benefits for others, right? For the less fortunate, or for whoever you want to actually help, right? You can do affordable housing, you can do workforce housing, you can serve whoever you want to, whoever you feel called to serve. And then socially, right? Again, it's just kind of the same thing. It's how can you bring people together to have more social connections, more real time, not just digital on Facebook, right? But actually fundamentally grounded in reality, because you're together, you're with them in physical space. Okay, and then in terms of where we need to develop, again, my fundamental belief is that cities are the path forward. Cities hold the potential for bringing more connectivity and more resources together in an efficient fashion for us to proceed with our lives, right? So focusing on cities is really the objective here, and growing them in smart, conscious ways. Right? That's really what smart growth is all about, is we're trying to focus where density can emerge, where residential units can emerge, where, office, retail, you want to create a sense of vibrancy, because the more diversity, the more diverse sense of mix of uses, of incomes, of races, of everybody coming together, that's where stuff starts happening, right? That's why you feel that buzz in New York City. Right? You go there and there's just this teeming sense of stuff is happening, creative possibilities are emerging. That sense of vibrancy is really what we can do as developers to help that emergence happen. And Oakland is a perfect example of that, because it's one of these cities that has kind of fallen by the waysides in decades past that is coming back, right? And again, there was this whole kind of detour that we took as a society, especially in America, of thinking, let's plan these big highways and let's move people out of cities. Let's, go and enjoy our freedom out in the countryside, disconnected from everybody. I mean, with the white picket fence. But it's okay, that's great. But then you kind of, this sense of loneliness, of disconnection, no, it's cities have the potential of bringing us back together and creating that sense of vibrancy. And you, as a developer, can be that person who steps into that responsibility and that role of creating these new assets that bring that back. So as far as how to actually do it, and this is what we're going to be talking about throughout the whole Developer Academy, and today in particular, is you need to start to see. You need to open your eyes, right? You need to open your third eye, if you will, to see opportunity and to understand where something can potentially emerge that's not already there. And with the beauty of this game, right? Because this is a game, you can have fun with it, is that the rules have already been stated. The rules have been put in place, right? Zoning, and we're going to be talking a lot about zoning. Zoning is the rules of the game. So if you understand the zoning, you can start to see the gap between what's currently there and what can potentially go there. And your role is to basically take advantage of that opportunity and create that possibility, get that possibility into service. And then you have to determine if that site really does have potential, because the zoning can be such that it has some development potential, has the ability to change. Right, and development is all about changing. You're changing, uses from one to another, commercial to residential, or you're changing it from nothing, land, to a built building. Right, you're fundamentally changing the property, but you have to determine if it's a really good deal. And we use the financials as the logic. Right, math is the logic for how we should proceed, in my mind. Right, that's my rationality is my guiding force to basically say whether this is a good decision to do or not, right? And if the financials are not there, it doesn't make sense. As much as you want it to happen, it's just not sustainable because the economics don't work. So you got to make sure that you understand how to do that, and then how to actually make a good deal happen. You have to be able to negotiate and understand where somebody else is at, right? Because somebody else is on the other side of the transaction. So you have to cultivate a sense of empathy and a sense of desire to actually want to create more win-win scenarios for both you and the property owner, right? And a lot of the times you can do that because you're not trying to undercut them. You're saying, no, I see an opportunity to create something new, to create more value here, and I can pay you the fair market value for what your property is right now. It's just not yet fully realized in terms of its potential. And my role is to basically create that into reality and create value on top of that. And then you have to basically understand how to arrange the resources. And the financials are usually the most important resources that you have to understand how to arrange. You got to bring all of that energy together and allow for that to make the project happen. You also need the human resources, right? You need the people, the professionals to actually do it. But the financial resources tend to be the biggest thing that actually makes it happen. You have to understand how you can get different types of resources and structure a deal together to make it work. And then finally, you have to devise a strategy, and you have to make the right decisions as you're going through the process. Because once you're in the process, you're at point A, and you got to get to point B. And it's not going to be necessarily a straight line. There's going to be some meandering in that process, like the evolutionary process is in general. You have to understand how to navigate that, and you have to make the right decisions along the way to get to that end goal that actually solidifies the value. And that is the goal, is you get to that end goal, you get to that finish line and say, I have now done it. I've created a stable asset that somebody is willing to compensate me for because it's now a fully functioning, net operating or positive asset that's providing good economic, social, environmental benefits. Okay, and that's the goal as a developer. And again, I think anybody can learn how to do this. And so again, real estate is probably the best vehicle to do it. Real estate development in particular enables you to create massive wealth, right? Because you're not just trying to incrementally squeeze out some value from what's already there. You're creating something new. And if you can create something new and actually manifest it into reality, that's how you're going to get compensated.